TPMNation.com.
This is from Vox.com. Trump's long history of pushing wild misinformation about wind turbines. The president's latest false claim about wind energy is his wildest yet. So it says here, President Donald Trump is a climate change denier and renewable energy hater. So in other words, he's a Republican. That much has been clear for a long time. But during a speech on Tuesday evening, he took the flawed arguments he's been making against wind energy to new levels of absurdity. Addressing the National Republican Congressional Committee, Trump claimed that sounds made by wind turbines cause cancer. Well, all right. He said, quote, if you have a windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. Your house just went down 75% in value, and they say the noise causes cancer. You tell me that one, okay? What does that mean? You tell me that one, okay? I don't know what that means. Maybe that's a tell. Maybe you tell me that one, okay, is just kind of another way of saying, by the way, I'm lying to you, but I assume that you as my base will believe everything I say. Let's see. It says here, there is no evidence, however, that any sort of sound, including the low-frequency ones emitted by wind turbines, causes cancer. After all, as Philip Jekyll wrote in The Atlantic in 2017, if it were the case that wind turbine sounds cause cancer, you'd expect evidence of the connection to emerge among residents of countries that have lots of them, like Denmark. But it hasn't. Let's see. While there is no evidence that wind turbines cause cancer, chemicals and particulates emitted during the processes of extracting and burning fossil fuels have been linked with numerous health ailments, including cancer. Trump's claim that windmills drastically decrease property values is also false. As CNN detailed in a recent fact check of Trump's comments about wind energy, quote, while some properties can see a decrease in value when turbines are placed and constructed nearby, several major academic studies found no statistically significant decrease in the average property value due to wind turbines in the U.S., unquote. Tuesday evening was far from the first time Trump pushed misinformation about wind energy. During a speech in Michigan last week, he decried that the unreliability of wind means it's impossible to watch television on evenings where the wind isn't blowing. Trump said this, quote, if Hillary got in, you'd be doing windmills, and if it doesn't blow, you can forget about television for that night. Darling, I want to watch television. I'm sorry, the wind isn't blowing. I know a lot about wind, unquote. I just want to let those words hang in the air for a second. Yeah. You don't, maybe you might know a lot about hot air, Mr. President. But you don't know anything about wind turbines or windmills or wind energy or how it works. If you did, you wouldn't be saying stupid stuff like, oh, can't watch TV because the wind didn't blow. That's not how it works. It says here, Trump's comments betrayed ignorance of how batteries work and of the idea that wind is just one part of a broader renewable energy system. Asked about Trump's remarks, Michael Mann, a professor of atmospheric science at Pennsylvania State University, a scientist, what do they know, right? Scientists, they think climate change is real. They're dumb, stupid scientists. Anyway, Michael Mann from Pennsylvania State told Newsweek that those statements amounted to, quote, malicious ignorance. The truth is that a combination of wind, solar, and other renewables, along with battery and smart grid technology, can provide continuous and abundant electricity, unquote. During previous speeches, Trump has baselessly suggested wind turbines make easy targets for terrorists and claimed they are especially dangerous for birds. In fact, fossil fuel power plants led so far more bird deaths. fossil fuel power plants lead to far more bird deaths than wind turbines. Yeah, that's a talking point, by the way, I've heard from others who hate renewable energy. Oh, wind turbines kill birds. That's actually pretty rare that a bird flies into a wind turbine. It apparently does happen, but with far less regularity than birds are killed in bird strikes. Do you know what a bird strike is? A bird strike is when a bird unwittingly flies into an engine on an airplane. You know how often that happens? All the damn time. Should we ground all the airplanes? Because apparently if you're President Trump, you're all of a sudden so worried about birds. Can't do anything to hurt the birds, so I guess we can't have renewable energy. Well, maybe it's not a big deal when it's bird strikes because that's a pretty quick death. Like when a bird flies into the engine of an airplane and they're, the engine's pretty powerful, they're immediately just ground to death in there, and the plane just keeps on going like nothing happened. So maybe that's okay. But whereas when a bird flies into a wind turbine, even though it doesn't happen very much, that's a pretty grisly death for a bird. So maybe that's what it is. And Trump just didn't take the time to explain his concern for birds flying into wind turbines, even though it's clearly on his mind. And why wouldn't it be? I'm sure a man of Trump's empathy and caring, I'm sure he's very concerned about animals in general, and just can't bear the idea of these poor, unsuspecting birds just flying right into all these wind turbines and then plunging to their death. I'm sure it keeps him awake at night. Very, very troubling to him. I have no doubt. What a guy. I bet he's a member of PETA, and he just doesn't tell anybody because, he doesn't want us to think he's bragging, because he is such a humble man.
IPMNation.com